Ready?
Yes.
Good evening, everybody. We'll call the meeting to order. Will the clerk call the roll?
Mayor Patricelli,
Present?
Councilwoman Diamond,
Present.
and Councilman Dawes.
Sure. Will everybody stand? We'll do the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. We'll start by reading in the minutes of the previous meeting.
Mayor, I'll make a motion that we dispense with the reading of the minutes of the previous meeting.
I'll second that motion.
And motion made in second. Call the roll, please.
I'm sorry, Mayor Patricelli,
In favor?
Councilwoman Diamond,
In favor?
Councilman Dawes.
In favor.
Next order of business will be the reports of officers and committees. Well, that's Joe.
Just a few items to bring you up to speed on. As you all know, we've talked about it individually or maybe collectively as a group. No bids were received on our restaurant bid. We are starting to talk to, well, I know I am, and I think Mayor, you are too, trying to talk to individual restaurateurs in the area, a couple of developers in the area, to see why they didn't bid, what we could do differently. We'd like to put that bid back out, maybe take more control of it, not put it through the hands of the engineers and the real estate agent that they had assist us and maybe bring that into in-house and do that a little bit better, a little differently. We'd like to keep that same schedule. We'll see is how tight we can be on it. The one thing I did hear was the ownership of the land might have been one thing that turned into a legal way. When developers come in and don't own the ground underneath them, that's sometimes the concern, especially on a long-term bid. So if someone puts all that investment money into it and that doesn't prove to be a fruitful business for them, we make out because we own a building. They invested all that money. So we got to look to see what we could do maybe a little differently. Like I said, I think talking to some of the bigger developers in the area will help us, and they all are connected to national tenants. I don't want to go a national tenant if we don't have to. That sometimes brings different, but if we look across the river, not a national tenant, but a larger franchise tenant like Dinosaur Barbecue is not a bad thing to have in our area too. So we'll start looking that way.
Is it worth talking to other restaurant owners along the Hudson just to kind of see what their take on any of it is? Like I think of Yanni's, or Yanni's
Yeah.
too down in
Yeah,
Selford.
we shouldn't really discount anything. I think talking to a restaurateur is not a bad idea. You get the sense of what they're looking for. When I was at the town, and I know you might see these guys come to Green Island now, for the 4 years that Lewis played baseball in Fort Myers, Florida, I was talking to Ford Motor Restaurant. Year 2, I talked to him in year 1. No, we don't have a franchise agreement finished yet. Year 2, I go down there, meet with the same general manager. We just completed our franchise management company. When we were building the ACO property, I was trying to get them up there because of the proximity to Ford Motor Company here in Green Island and the Ford Motor dealership right there in Layton, Ford. Very interested in the site. Talked to them for several months. They never did go forward. Now, I'm working with someone who's actually bringing them possibly to the Ford Motor site in Green Island. So it takes a while. Like I say, it's first bite at the apple. Never happens in economic development. It's 5 projects, 10 projects to maybe get one. I know it's always disappointing, but we're going to continue to work at it and see. But I guarantee we'll have something you know, in the years ahead. We just got to keep at it and keep going forward. I'm not totally disappointed in it, but I think we have to do a better job and maybe take control of it in-house, you know, with it. So we'll keep moving forward with it. You might have seen some National Grid work up at 1036 19th Street. That was to disconnect the electric and gas. I don't know how far they did get today. I know they were digging on the old Worcester house up there, but as soon as we get the clearance from National Grid that all services are connected, we'll start the demolition process on that property.
So we have a contractor for that?
We do. We did an emergency bid on August 31st in the morning, and I think at 9 o'clock in the morning. All bids were in that day. They went from $99,800 to $56,000. Big difference in price. Detonos was the one who came in the low bidder at $56,000. They know what they're doing, so they know what they've gotten into. And we're just waiting on all the clearances to come from National Grid. And I filed the waiver paperwork so we can demo that as one parcel with everything included. That's lead and asbestos. But we do have verbiage from Weston and Sampson to say that it is a detriment to life safety and public health, and that the property should come down. And so we're going forward there.
Okay, that's great.
DCJS docks, we filed a grant last year, and I know the mayor had frustration with it because it was for $25,000. Then they turned us away. They said not to accept it, couldn't give out the money. To our surprise, last week or 2 weeks ago, Docs came back and said they were rewarding us with $25,000. So we already had put in for one message board that the DPW and the police will use, and we don't rent one, we borrow one each time we do an event here at the city from Albany Police, PD. We rent 2 of them or borrow 2 of them each time. So we have one, I think that one of the donors donated for one. We pick that up next week. I believe it's going to be delivered. And tomorrow we have a meeting with DCJS on the phone to start all the paperwork on Grants Gateway, and we probably will have another one shortly thereafter with it. So good for us that we got that too. Lastly, and I can accept any questions after this, you probably noticed the pod at the swimming pool. We are emptying out the pool house with anticipation that if not next meeting, the meeting thereafter, we'll be bringing a contractor agreement to the council to approve to replace the roof. That's the one that we had problems with last year, but that gave the council the attention that it was crumbling. We'll take that roof off and build another roof according to better specs for us. And that's what I have at this point.
So did we then determine that it's more beneficial to replace the roof on this building and not tear it down and start from scratch?
Yeah, so Vita Architecture has been looking at that. They've done studies on it. They feel strongly that the building itself still has good bones and a very strong building. There are a couple of interior walls that we are going to take down and redo interior walls. Maybe make a smaller bathroom, a larger office, an area maybe for more vending machines, those type of things, but improve the design that we have now. Not have showers, but have better bathrooms. So we'll be doing the whole process. And with that, we're also looking at possibly 2 new filter tanks in the pump house as well. One was leaking last year, or this year I should say, and we fixed it, MacGyvered it a little bit with a rubber bladder and some, screws and things like that. But I definitely want to have 2 of those replaced next year. That hasn't been done, I think, in 28 years, or almost 30 years, and I know you're going to be here for 26, so.
Yes, I am. But everything we do
So-
has to last 26 years.
That's right, and so we're going to be working to do that. And that's all I have for this evening.
So what about the paving?
Paving was to commence last night on 23rd Street, because we know we're going to be back online after Labor Day. They had a couple of large projects. They mobilized, but I'm looking to look tonight when we go out of here to see if they're supposed to do the 23rd Street part tonight and then start throughout the city and going from there. Milling on First Street will happen September 14th. That's a town project. It was going to be on the 11th. I got a text yesterday that they moved it to the 14th. And then they committed to the fact that it should not be any longer than that. But milling will start on the 14th for First Avenue. And the town will take care of that.
So that Newcastle is planning on doing something right now on 23rd Street.
Yeah, 23rd.
Right. Couldn't we notify, said what we were going to do out there?
We did not because it was supposed to be the other night.
Well, yeah,
Not waiting.
we're always in that boat.
Unfortunately, we are. I was waiting on that, but as soon as it's confirmed that they are doing it, and it's only going to impact people coming off 787,
Right, yeah.
going that way.
Yeah.
But it's going to be a nighttime paving, so there shouldn't be many cars
Right.
coming from our municipality. But as soon as they confirm that they're starting, and I'll check when we leave here, by the time I get home, we'll let a Facebook post.
What's about the rest of the schedule?
So we're working 2 different things that are happening. National Grid is doing some repaving for us for their work.
Right.
And that's to commence after their one job is completed, and I forgot where they were doing it offhand, but it's over in that Stewart's area. And then the CSO project is gonna, when that's completed fully, and they're topping off those trenches now, they should be paving, but it won't be until after the race for those. Now, the trenches are gonna be filled with concrete, so it's gonna be smooth with it. And then they'll come in and mill them afterwards, so we don't have to worry about anybody. That was the one thing we did talk to J&K Trucking about, that those things have to be brought up to.
Oh, so they're going to be filled in for the race?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Filled-
All right.
They were filled in this morning. or
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
You haven't been down there.
and that's what he said, he would guarantee me it was either today or tomorrow. And then, the rest of the city paving, we're still waiting on Newcastle to give us that final schedule. And it's not like we haven't asked them every day since. We continue to have them on it.
Anything else?
Nope, I'm all set.
All right. All right, there's no other old business, we'll go into new business.
All right, I handed each one of you the introduction to the local law, which will be number 4, and that's the garbage and refuse law. We're amending chapter 168, and I believe there were comments on this. These comments were addressed. This is the one where we're adding tipper cans to the landlord properties, specifically in here. So the idea tonight is that we will call a public hearing to be held on September 21st to hear all those interested in discussing local law number 4. And that will be September 21st at 6 p.m.
Okay. Very good.
Is there ever any issue with the recycles with any of these houses, or is it just primarily the trash? And maybe if you don't really recycle, maybe they just throw it away?
I think the majority of the problem is trash.
Yeah.
What I dealt with over the years, trash was the issue.
Okay. I
But
thought so then.
very few of them even use recycling.
Yeah.
Is that correct?
Okay.
Yeah.
But I think one of the things that this law is intending to do is to help with the cleanliness too.
Oh, yes.
So I
yes.
would be fully supportive of the fact that when we do this law, I know right now we speak to refuse, but I think we should roll out recycling cans, because you can go by and see on a windy day, boxes, bags and stuff blowing away too. So if we're gonna do it, I would support, and again, this is a draft. We have the capability at the public hearing to hear that next, and if we want to make any changes, we can certainly do it at that time.
I was just curious. I certainly know the intent of this, and I think it's great. Thank you.
Okay. All right, then we'll move on to resolution number 61.
Resolution 61 is approving the agreement between the City of Watervliet and Rita Architecture PLLC for the design and construction administration of the Watervliet Reservoir for a boat dock and an access ramp. And this one here is, as you know, we are working to try to improve the quality of the reservoir. The resolution before us tonight is for $33,340. That's for Rita Architecture to design, to work through construction documents, to work through construction administration, for a boat dock and access to the reservoir for a wider vehicle. And I think we are all moving towards trying to get another harvester, a larger harvester dredger type of equipment. But by the time you put the dredger, the trailer on top of that equipment, we're like 38 feet or something like that, and we just did not have the access. Besides, get into the reservoir is a complete dip, and we would have never had it. So this is to design an access point, do some clearing, so we can get the equipment in there and have a docking system, so we don't have to continue to take that boat out of the water, and it'll be readily accessible.
You get ahead of yourself. We need to make the motion and discuss it.
Go ahead and make the motion.
I'll make a motion.
I'm sorry.
Resolution number 61.
I'll second it.
Everything I said 5 minutes ago.
Yes, I got it, Joe. I wasn't really worried about the getting skipped it, but anyway. All right, so any other questions for Joe on this? Motion made and second. Call the roll.
Mayor Patricelli,
In favor?
Councilwoman Diamond,
In favor?
and Councilman Gillespie.
In favor.
Okay.
Resolution 62 is a resolution approving a consulting agreement between Eileen Franco Consulting Services in the City of Watervliet, and authorizing Mayor Charles B. Patricelli to execute all required documents regarding the same.
Mayor, I'll make a motion that we move on resolution number 62 for 2023.
I'll second that motion.
As we are trying to continuously improve civil service and some of the services provided through the HR, we were talking with Carol Radigan and the need for training, both annualized training, safety training components, and various parts of, or mechanisms, I should say, from health and safety issues throughout our employees from the City of Watervliet. I know fire department and police department typically handle their own kind of trainings. This would be more of the DPW services provided and some of the administrative trainings that we're to do on an annualized basis. This is a contract for, again, Eileen Franco Consulting. City of Cohoes just hired her as well. I was trying to use a piggyback mechanism, but based on the hourly amount of $75 per hour, our council said it would be appropriate to go right to contract with Eileen. She comes with a long history of state service in the training, in HR, and health department, so she would be a viable contractor to bring our services up to speed.
Can I just ask, like, what kind of programs so would she bring in, like, the DPW employees all together and do some kind of a, is this like the, well, you know,
Training.
like sexual avoidance,
Sexual
Yes.
harassment.
sexual harassment avoidance and that kind of thing?
Yes, all those type of things that are required on an annualized or biannual basis, she would be in charge of doing all those. Also, some of the things that she's developed, and she's developing currently for Civico are those confined space programs for, Department of Public Works, like for example, if you're in a catch basin, or if you're under the ground, in a sewer things, what do you need to do there? Are you harnessed? Is there a tripod above?
Oh,
Those
okay,
types
so
of things.
she's
Wall
certified
things,
for
yeah,
that.
rubber-
Right, wall safety,
Well, safety,
is it a wooden ladder, is it a metal ladder, from an OSHA standpoint, bringing our safety standards up to par with what we should be doing.
Okay,
Sounds good.
the, I don't know, Joe, if this is something you might want to talk to them about too, but you might want to ask the schools or the housing authority if they see any value with this themselves. The housing had some of this in place many years ago, but I don't know how updated it is or accurate it is. But I'd be up to them if they wanted to. But if we're doing it, might as well take one shot at the apple.
Okay. Certainly could, it doesn't hurt to ask.
Okay. Any other questions?
No.
All right. No other questions? Call the roll.
Mayor Patricelli,
In favor?
Councilwoman Diamond,
Favor?
and Councilman Dawes.
In favor.
Okay, ordinance number 5 is an ordinance with the city of Watervliet and Watervliet, New York, amending section 260-30, section C, sign locations of the code, city of Watervliet, specific to 2102 4th Avenue.
I'll make a motion on ordinance number 5.
And I will second that.
This is just simply removing a handicap sign.
Handicap sign.
Yeah, we're removing the handicap sign on this one.
Okay. All right. Any other questions?
No.
All in favor? Or call the roll, please.
Mayor Patricelli. Mayor Patricelli,
In favor?
Councilwoman Diamond,
Favor?
and Councilman Dawes.
In favor.
Last item on the agenda is ordinance number 6. This is an ordinance with the city of Watervliet, New York, amending section 260-50, schedule, what is that, 14? Parking prohibited at all times. Section 260-56, schedule 20, limit time parking in the code of the city of Watervliet. This is the area, let me see if I got, motion.
Oh,
I'll make a motion that we move on ordinance number 6 for 2023.
I'll second that motion. Go ahead, Joe.
Hold on, Dawes.
I know you got a lot going on, but I get that.
All right, so this one here, we were approached by the Watervliet Arsenal. And you may or may not know or see the parking. This is across from the Watervliet Arsenal Tavern.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
There's 3 areas of parking right here. And above that is a turning lane to get into the Arsenal. Now, as you know, the Arsenal's been doing a lot of work in that area, improving access and things like that into their area here. They're looking at obtaining this area as a no parking area. Because if you go by there at various times, there is queuing that goes around and sometimes comes down onto the major turning lane or movement lane. So they asked, would we consider taking away that parking spot? That's what this ordinance is going to do. But I said to Brian Strock, who approached me on it, this is not at the cost of the city of Watervliet to remove the paint or do anything improvements, like putting in new flag or new turning lanes or anything like that. That will, all that cost of making the improvement will be on the Arsenal, not on the city. So that's what this request is for.
Do a lot of people
I think there's 3 spots there. Looks
Yeah,
like
there is, but
there's
do a lot of people park there?
Yes, all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, depending, and I think it was, sometimes used for this housing at Woodburner's warehouse, and they had
Right.
spots in there. I think what you're seeing a lot, and I could be wrong, I tie it to the Arsenal Tavern, that people are parking there with it. I don't know of any overnights parking there, but I have to really look.
I think I've been by there at night and I don't know about,
Well, I know
Midnight, but-
the wood burning warehouse always had their trucks
always-
parked there,
Yeah.
but since they left, I don't know.
Yeah.
if,
Some arsenal people park there too because their vehicles can't make it into the arsenal.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Who
they're
parks there?
they're very strict in the arsenal. If your vehicle is not inspected,
Oh, yes,
anything
I
like
heard
that,
that,
they won't
yeah.
allow you in the arsenal. So employees are forced to park outside the arsenal. Yeah, they had that in the past.
Yes, I've heard that.
But it also, this is gonna also help with the flow of traffic, so
Yes.
we don't want that bottleneck on
Correct.
Broadway, so.
Correct.
you know.
It's so tough to take away parking, it's a tough area. But there's nothing available to anyone.
I can,
Even the Woolies and stuff, because
yeah,
there's nothing there on the Third Avenue side, and
right.
he's only got a spot or two on the Broadway side.
I can, if you want to hold this ordinance until our next meeting, I can do time studies just to see various times of the day on parking.
I'd be for that.
And then we can see what it is, what it looks like.
Because I know, like, even, it's not the VFW, I don't even know who it is, Overseas Vets or something like that.
Yeah.
They were asking for more parking availability on the Broadway side, be on the east side of Broadway. And years ago, they had that.
Yeah, right.
They had it, now that's gone. Because I don't know if there's signage there or not, but I think that's one. They've asked for, because even in the back now, they don't have a lot.
Right.
I mean, what do they got? They got 2 or 3 spots in the back, or 4 spots in the back.
Yeah,
And then you've got Arsenal City, if they have a good crowd or something like this, that
then 3 spots are taken up there. And the overall distance on is,
There's nothing in the wood burning warehouse right now, right?
no, not in the storefront.
Not yet.
But if you
Not-
want, that's what
But if they, and
if you want to get
Yeah,
it
if
back in.
if they wanted something, that kind of makes it very terrible, tough. Even if it is only an apartment, they only have that one spot, or 2 spots inside that little.
Right, that little
And I'll be
area
honest
right
with
next
you,
to
I
the
never
building.
wanted to park in there.
Right.
Yeah.
Because it's tough getting in and tough getting out,
Yeah.
especially when you got somebody flying around 30 Avenue
I was
from
just gonna
Broadway.
say, especially at that light,
Yeah.
where they're,
And again, I gotta think of the,
And one of the things we can do here is table it till we do, a couple of weeks study at specific times, to kind of get a number count to see what's there. We could also leave the parking area, but treat it temporarily by putting in hash marks so people don't park there to see what that brings, because those hash marks can always be brought back. And we, change out the parking where it's hourly, whatever those hours are, to no parking. And we could always switch those signs back. So we don't have to make this permanent. We could make it temporary to see what it does and if it improves anything or if we get a lot of complaints.
and so why are they asking that that parking be taken away?
just so that they can get a line
Like
in. So
more
there's-
ease of,
Yeah.
because I have
Entry.
seen cars, yes, backed up down around the corner
Yeah.
there, so, okay.
And it's, I don't know how, that's a tough area to turn into from that. Some trucks can't go in that way, they gotta go around.
Oh, they've got to go through that block by Lenny's and then almost,
They
I
gotta
think
go,
it's more just the
because I think
traffic
Yeah.
getting in the cars and,
I always thought the truck movement for the Arsenal was down Third, coming all the way straight in. This wasn't a truck movement.
no, not
No, I
all.
don't think it is. I think a lot of trucks go down Broadway and turn.
Yeah,
Well, they gotta adjust themselves.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not saying that they're not coming off 787
No,
that way,
yeah, right.
right,
but that's the same, that's a problem. And I think that's what they were trying to do with the gate on 10th Street. They were trying to make that more the truck entrance.
Yes,
Oh,
But
really?
nobody pays, I don't know if nobody pays attention to it.
but that's still a time term too to do. So I guess you could recommend to, table the motion until we just do a time study,
Okay,
just to
and
see what it is.
The other location is, let's see, 736 Third Avenue. That is the flower shop.
Yes,
Okay, from the intersection of an alley located just north of 736 Third Ave, south for 86 feet.
yes, so there's another no parking field.
How far is 86 feet? Like, how far does that go down towards 7th Street?
Yeah, you know what, unfortunately, this one, I didn't print.
There are always cars there.
We didn't print this one.
Is this again for the arsenal?
Yes, it's all in the same ordinance.
Okay.
Nobody should be
We're
reading
gonna
the
table.
flower shop though, right?
No, I think it's north of the flower shop.
Yeah.
Well, that's,
I apologize, I thought that the picture printed, but it looks like it didn't when I pulled off the ordinance. So,
Yeah, we'll have to mark that out.
we'll mark it out for you, I'll bring it back in a couple of weeks, and
No
we'll
parking
do some
designated.
time studies and see.
Then we'll just tables.
Yeah, a motion to table.
do we make a motion?
I'll make a motion, we table.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Councilman Patricelli, I'm sorry, Mayor Patricelli,
In favor.
Councilman Diamond,
In
Councilwoman
favor?
Diamond, and Councilman Dunstan.
In favor.
Okay. So
What about the other one area that I asked you about? It's been an issue and a request for a long time, and I know even way before on 5th Street on Broadway, going north.
What's the address on that? Do you know?
It was 5th Street and Broadway, north, on the north side. It was in front of them.
Is that-
Yeah, across from Castle House. But it's coming out of 5th Street. If you were coming out of 5th Street and wanted to make a right-hand or a left, even right-hand or left-hand turn, but a right-handed turn, cars are parked up on it, it makes it very, very difficult to see. Just-
That's right.
Huh?
Send us that.
I sent you that, yeah.
Well, what I'll do, Mayor, is I will add that parking to this ordinance because it's the same topic. And at the next time we bring this back, we'll add 5th and Broadway.
We did the same thing, 21st Street and Broadway. I mentioned this to you in the email, but it was 21st Street, Broadway for Parker Brothers. Not for them, but it was known that coming out of 21st Street, and if you're coming out on Broadway, you can't see.
Right. There are a lot of streets like that.
There are a lot of streets like that, but
But
This one here, right?
correct.
Yeah. Was that Chris? Yeah, that's one that we should look to consider by, we talked about this as well, but nothing was ever done on it, was the Gus's coming out of 3rd for Vision. Or Gus to take one on each corner, take one on 3rd going south downbound, and then take one,
This is hot dogs.
yeah, to east and west, so you take no parking out of it. So,
See that?
oh, take a spot at the corner so that, oh,
so you don't have to keep on edging your car out, which you
Yeah.
see a lot in a lot of areas, people edging out,
Yeah.
because it's all clustered.
Okay. All right, seeing that there's no other new business, we'll go into appropriations and accounting.
Want to do that?
I passed out some paperwork that has a 23 update that the council had asked for. I'm just giving that to you for your reading pleasure. And I wanted to note that I believe Amanda Delac is now sending the check reports as she's running them.
Okay.
And I just wanted to make sure the council understood that's what the checks are. And to see if you had any questions regarding them.
out at this point.
Yeah.
I did open, some of them and looked and so forth, but that's great.
So this is just reading homework?
Yeah.
Okay. Awesome. Okay. Any questions for me? No. All right. Thank you. All right. Just a couple of things again before we go into the public comment period. On Monday, we have the 9/11 ceremony at 5 o'clock at the Oaks. Senator Asby and Colonel Fisher at the Arsenal will be our speakers. All I know the fire department and the police department are both involved in the ceremony. So hopefully we'll be able to, good weather and we'll attend. The other conversation we've been having is there's been some interest on behalf of the Watervliet Charitable Foundations again to continue with their history-saving programs for the bells that we presently have. John Grisano, who's the president of the foundation, paid for the purchase of a bell in Virginia that was made here, and is also paying for the removal of the bell out of St. Bridget's Church and also the Methodist Church. And then they're trying to look at the locations of where those could be placed, and, something that would make a more of a marker for the cities,
Were those also made at Manila?
Huh?
Were those also made?
Yeah, all made at Manila here, right there. So yeah, they're all looking at. So we're trying to come up with a kind of like a battle plan or something like that. And again, something. I don't think anything that we put up will be as elaborate as what we did on 19th Street. That alone was a big one. But it's just something that he wants to continue on and see and make sure that we have this memorialized forever.
Yeah. No, I think that's very nice. It was a nice article in the Times Union the other day.
It was good, yeah, it was good. I think it makes a big impact on the outlook of Watervliet.
Yes,
So,
very nice.
all right, I will, anything else under
I'll
the
just,
race? Well, the race is the week after, it's the
Yes.
17th. I have 54 volunteers right now set up for the intersections and all the different spots that we have. Chris Sharkran's been handling the registrations, and I didn't ask her for an update on the registrations, but she said it was good. So, that
I
part.
think, what is today? Today's Thursday. I think I asked her on Tuesday, maybe yesterday, how many. She said about 173 at that point. So for 2 weeks out, that's,
Good.
Yeah.
Okay.
A lot of people wait for the weather too.
Yeah, they wait for the weather, but
Yeah.
they register that day, even if it's $1 more or whatever it is.
yeah.
Okay. All right, we'll move into the, you have something? Mr. Jones? Okay. We'll move into the public comment.
All right, well now the public comment period, to anyone in the audience, you'll have 3 minutes to speak unless it's extended. Just state your name and your address, where you're located.
Hey, Jimmy.
I'm the only one, I guess.
You are?
I'll be quick. Couple things.
Just
You got your name and the
Yes,
address.
Jim Sharkran, 707 Fifth Street, Watervliet. We got a couple things on, I don't know if you want to call them quality of life issues, but side streets in Watervliet. I strongly feel that a lot of these spots should have four-way stop signs. All right, definitely 13th Street and 6th Avenue. It's a blind spot up there. If somebody's going to get killed up there, we had a couple people get hit on bikes. We've had several car accidents there. If you're coming up 13th going west on 6th, left, if you look left, it's a blind spot. You can't see. So we've had a couple people get wiped out on bikes and, definitely that spot. Another spot,
13th and 6th.
13th and 6th, yeah, yep.
Now, so just to make sure I got this, because when we have to do that, we have to show north, southeast, so what is it, 13?
Yeah, well, it would be going north and south for the stop signs.
I took.
I mean, I
No,
personally,
it would be east and west, right? I know, because the stops are, because I know what you're exactly talking about. I know that it's.
they go east-west. But there's a four-way stop on 7.
Yeah,
So, but that 6th Ave, personally, I think that all these intersections should be four-way stops, because you got people.
yeah, but the streets go east-west, right?
Yes,
Yeah, so this is where the stop sign would be, east-west.
East-west.
Not north-south.
so north-south
Yeah,
would-
right.
on that particular one, but
Yeah.
down by Ted's on 5th Street and 4th, that's another one, that's,
They're just.
there's not a blind spot.
That's
people
being put in.
behind the
They-
L's.
They're already in.
Just
That's
put
already
it
being
We
in.
got a four-way stop here?
Yes,
Okay.
We did that one last
just
time.
probably within 2 days, I don't know, it's awesome. And by the church, by St. Bridget's Church,
Yep, okay.
that corner.
So,
That's now
in my
fine.
opinion, I think all these side, you know, you want back road, whatever you want to call them, should have four ways on them, because
Yes.
people are flying through.
Yeah.
There's some red lights in the city, they don't need to be here anymore. We took the one out at 6th, where Gino's used to be. Good move. That thing was, a lot of these red lights were put in for industry back. The Arsenal, Bendix,
It's cool.
and, you know, everybody getting out of work at the same time, right? Some of these, 25th Street, Broadway, that should be a three-way stop. You can make it a four-way because you got that little, that should be to me, a three-way stop. If Home Depot can do it up there, we can do it here. And there's other spots, I think, that should be, you know.
Is that ours or is that state though?
25th.
Well, that's what I'm getting at. You might have to petition the state on this.
Yeah.
You know, but,
25th and what?
Broadway.
Broadway.
25th
Oh,
and
okay.
Broadway.
Yeah.
That's going into Green
And it's a long light, you know,
Yeah.
and everybody talks, me, I'm not a big emissions guy, I really don't care about the green energy and all that stuff, that's not me. But you want to talk about cars idling, the other thing, this city may have looked into this when 19th Street was done, is everybody's putting these roundabouts in. Everybody's putting roundabouts in. Sit at the light at 19th and 2nd. How many cars a day are sitting idling there? Is it big enough to put a roundabout there? You can put a nice fountain in the middle of it, you know what I'm getting at? Will the buses be able to make the turns off the bridge? I don't know, that would have to be an engineering study.
A lot of that, Jim, just to go on that, a lot of that was all part of the bridge study.
Right,
And the bridge study does show a roundabout in that area, it's a smaller one, isn't it, Joe?
Yeah, so we did a couple of what they call urban roundabouts.
yep,
One was gonna be at 16th and 2nd, and we started looking and studying that more. That's our parade route,
Mhm.
so we'd have to even terminate it earlier, because you couldn't walk over the
They go around the
roundabout.
circles. for a
They can
little
go
while.
around the circles, they're all mountable curves,
Yeah.
but that was one of them. The other one, Jim, was on 21st and 2nd, coming out of Stewart's and Walgreens, because there's a lot of traffic, always, a lot of cars inching out each way. And then there was another study on the 23rd and 2nd as well, coming off of 787. That one there,
that's 23rd and 2nd, 23rd Broadway.
yes.
Multiple accidents with cars rear-ending each other. The roundabouts slow traffic down. And once you get used to these things, they're a piece of cake, you know? And you got cars flying
Yeah.
from 2nd, trying to get on that highway. Just some thoughts.
Yeah, I think one is the one on 23rd and 2nd being played.
We actually did some drawings on 22nd.
Yeah,
and,
so you guys are on it.
23rd.
I mean,
Yeah.
just, you know.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I wasn't aware.
again, these are things, Jim, I'm gonna be honest with you, that, you know, will be, you know, some people are gonna love it, some people are gonna hate it, some people are gonna, you know, because that's a change, you know, and, you know, and again, sometimes you just do things and then they say, how did we live without it? Or maybe it was the biggest mistake we ever made.
I mean, I'm not big on the bump outs on 19th Street.
No.
You're taking up parking spaces on 19th Street, that's all they do. You make a turn, you hit the curb. You can take them out, I'd be happy to.
yeah. Well, we are actually, we just went through final design of transferring the light from 6th Avenue and 19th to 5th Avenue and 19th. I asked for the bump outs to come out there going westernly, but increasing the bump outs for more safety on the south side of Fifth Avenue. So that's another safety issue we're trying to look at there, because cars always inch out. So,
And the other thing too, you're talking about lights. The proposal is to take that light out of 6th Avenue and 19th
Yes.
and move it to 5th Avenue.
yes, street light.
This, because of the traffic there, the traffic from Price Chopper
That's
coming
right.
in and out there. So it'd be the 5th Avenue, that intersection. So we take out 6th Avenue, move it to 5th,
Yes.
4th Avenue, 4th Avenue.
16th and 2nd was another one where I think you can get away with a four-way stop, if not a roundabout. Again, they do it up at the, they go up to Home Depot, they can do it up there, the place is packed all the time. You know, it's just this whole thing of moving traffic along a little bit, you know?
Yeah.
Okay, on the next thing, the bells. I think they look great, don't get me wrong.
I knew you were gonna bring it.
Don't get me wrong, I like the look of the bells, I like them, you know,
Yep.
but I'm not big on the city of the bells, okay? I don't know where that's coming from. We're the arsenal city, we've always been the arsenal city, you know?
Jim, what do they, just for a question, what do they call it, what's the names of the identified shrine?
Collar City.
And also the home of Uncle Sam, and also the Trojans,
Well, we're the Cannoneers too.
Cannoneers, yeah. And again, nothing's changing. Nothing, people are looking at it from a very narrow, very narrow look at it. There's nothing that we're saying, nobody's here, I'm not, I don't think anybody else is.
In the grand scheme of things, it's not, I just don't want to see this change. We've been the arsenal city
Arsenal
for
City.
the last
Yep.
200 years probably.
Almost
All right.
like 1813 anyway.
All right. So,
When it came here.
all right,
But
now,
again, it's nothing
Okay.
more than just kind of like serving our heritage and claiming what we have as a.
and I think they look good. I really do.
Yeah.
I think it looks good down in the park, when it's got, you know, right here at the bridge. It's a nice look. Thank you. That all looks good. Okay, now, Joe knows what we've been talking. Me and Joe, I've known Joe, we've been talking for 25 years about the city of Watervliet and the way that I feel the city should be going when it comes to tax base and the generations of administrations that haven't done what I feel should be done in this city. Okay, we're built out. We can't build out any farther. I think we had the chance at one time to buy the Scholar Flats. That, for some reason, we didn't do that. I don't know why. That could have been nice prime land to probably increase our tax base in a certain section. Okay? Our zoning laws, okay, in this city are ridiculous. Okay? I'm going to give you one example. The Halsey store, the old Halsey store, 13th and 5th. Okay, that went up the land bank camp. Different people inquired, including one of the guys at the firehouse and myself, to do something with it. We were told that it'd be tough to open up anything other than residential. All right? This is a city, okay? And people need to understand that this is a city. Okay, you might not be able to park directly in front of your house. All right, I can say that because I lived across from St. Bridget's Hall in Ithaca. I knew that probably I was going to have to walk a block, okay, to get back to my house.
Especially
all right? People have this perception of, you know, not my neighborhood because I'm not going to be able to park in front of my house. All right? This is a city. If you don't like this, then you can move to Grafton or Brunswick where you can get a driveway and you can have all kinds of land. All right? But you need to understand that this city needs to go in the direction of being a neighborhood again, a walkable city where you can walk to a store. Port Schuyler's probably, in my opinion, the best neighborhood in the capital district. Okay? That's my opinion. Now I'm going to get to Port Schuyler. All right? If you can just bear with me over the 3 minutes. All right? So, I got a couple things here. I think the mayor already read it. Joe, me and Joe have been talking 25 years about this. Okay. So there's that. I'm going to give you each one of these to read. Okay. This is the city of Kingston. Okay, Mayor, I think you read this. I texted you on it. I don't think you did. But, okay. They ripped up their zoning laws. Okay. And they basically said it's ridiculous what we're doing. All right. We need to have walkable neighborhoods. All right. Where we can have stores and we can go up in, you know, we can build up You know, we're limited to what we can do because of our zoning laws. Now, I went over today, and talking about Port Skyline, all right? Now, this is a home run, okay? This may not happen when this administration is here, but you might be able to get the ball rolling on this, okay? Okay. 19th Street, 10 years ago, 12 years ago, when Mayor Manning had the 19th Street all ripped up with the infrastructure. I said, you know something, it's probably money from the federal government, yep, you did it, but it was putting a Band-Aid on an arterial bleed, because 19th Street, that's not the direction we should be going in. I personally, to me, it's just wash your hands of 19th Street. It's probably the ugliest main street in America. I said that 15 years ago when I stood up here. What can you do with it? I don't know, you know? So now, my thought is this, okay? Us sitting back, being a bedroom community for the city of Albany, like we've done for the last 100 years, personally, I think should be over, okay? We always had a downtown, which was the city of Troy's downtown, all right? That's what we had, all right? We never really had, maybe we had a little Main Street before 787, all right? That's another thorn in my side, but that's, you know. Where I'm going with this is the east side of 3rd Avenue, from 1st Street all the way down to the Arsenal City Tavern, okay? This is where you start. You got to have somebody big come in. I went over and left my card with Luigi today, Mike Alex. I don't know if he's going to call me back. I said I was going to go in front of the council and mention his name. What I personally feel, you need somebody big like Luigi, Bonaccio Company up in Saratoga, to come in for the right price. Anything's for sale. All right, you buy out the businesses, you buy out the properties. You have the arsenals, you have the Old Erie Canal behind them. You take down the properties and you start over. All right, and you build that side of the street. Okay, you push it back now. You can have sideway parking. Then you go up, all right? This 2-story, 3-story deal, you can have some storefronts now. Again, everybody's on Amazon, so that might be a tough sell, but you can have some storefronts and some small things like this. Is this a pipe dream? I don't know. Listen, we got to do something, okay? We got to be able to go up. We got to increase our tax base, all right? It's not happening. We're not increasing the tax base in the city, all right? You go up. You put storefronts and so on, you go up 4 stories, all right? You start there, all right? If it works, now you start pushing yourself back toward the river. And you can buy out different people for, again, for the right price, anything's for sale. But you gotta have somebody that's able to do this. Luigi Brothers, some of these big contractors, get in contact with them. Maybe you do a study on this. I don't know. But this, you know, you only can go up so many stories, isn't working. All right, we can't increase our tax base. There's nothing, you know, you gotta go up. You gotta go up 3 stories, 4 stories, parking underneath. There's a lot of things we can do.
Do we have a limit right now on height?
Yeah, we are 45 feet, is the height with it. So, there is a certain height we're looking at.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, we got
The
that.
house by Eckerd, or
Yeah.
AAs, or whatever you want to call it.
It's got the mansard roof.
But I'm going to get off that. I don't want to go on a big tangent on that. You got the gist of it.
Yeah.
Joe, he knows. We got the guy here. This is the guy. He was involved with planning up in the town of Colony. A lot of people like Joe, and like you said, Mayor, some people will like it, some people won't because of change, right? But you got the guy right here that's been through this.
But everybody likes me.
So,
I mean,
all right, now, talk about tax base, all right? In my opinion, you talked about the arsenal, okay? They want a favor from us, take 3 parking spots. You know something, throw us a bone. Throw us a bone, listen, I know you're a federal and state installation, you know, we just had a bond for a new pumper, engine, okay? The federal government's got a lot of money, all right? There's no reason why if we need an engine, a pumper, you know, a fire engine, that they can't throw us a bone and buy us one, okay? So when they want us, you know, start helping just a little bit, we're not asking for a lot, you know? then, you know, maybe we can start giving them their 3 parking spaces, all right? But I wouldn't give them nothing. That's my opinion. All right, they wanted to take Reds Fields years ago. And thank God Manny told them no. I think I told Manny, why would you let them do that? Don't let, they got enough land, all right? So, I like the Arsenal, I love the Arsenal, it's in the city, don't get me wrong. But throw us a bone, please, you know, we're one of the highest tax exempts, probably cities in the state. I would assume you guys know that better than me. Everybody should be paying something in this day and age, all right? Maybe I'll get struck by lightning, all right? I was born and raised in Sacred Heart. These churches, throw us something, all right? The RPI building, tax exempt. I was told the Korean church is buying up some properties, taking off the tax rolls, should not be allowed. Whether it's a state law, this was all done, all these laws and stuff, this tax exempt stuff was probably done in the 1800s. Listen, it's not that time no more.
I don't think those properties are gonna be tax exempt though, right, Joe?
Well, when I spoke to the Korean church,
I know RPI over, in RPI, they buy up those residential homes and they take them off the tax rolls.
yeah,
So be careful. But listen, maybe you don't pay for more. Throw us something, okay? Yeah, I mean, come on. Everybody else is paying in the city. Why can't these entities pay?
Right.
You know, I have a problem with that. You know, and you know, again, we're built out. So you know, these are little things that I think that you know we should be pushing on these people. You know.
yeah, he brings up a point on the churches, like for example, when Life Church came into the town of Colony, they had a daycare component to it, which we argued was not a church, right, part. And we won in court, and they actually got the square footage of the daycare center was a taxable side of it.
Right.
So we have to look at those type of things when it comes time. And then when we're talking to the Korean church, I believe they bought the old Conroy building right next to it, and they want to use that for an office for a traveling minister. So I did have conversations with the guy doing all the property management, that to me would be a taxable component.
Correct.
So we'll be looking at those when it comes time.
But that's all I got for you. I appreciate your time. There's some things to ponder on. A lot of things were already, you know, roundabouts and the red lights and stuff were already on. But the other stuff, you know, I think, you know, somebody's got, I think, personally, I think some administration has to come along and hit a home run, you know, and then maybe hit a grand slam.
Well, I know this is still in the planning stages, but the old Garwood boat, Mayor and I have been having conversations with the county on acquiring that property.
Right.
They're trying to shift that property towards us. If that should be, that would be a property that would be primed to put out to RFP for a vertical property.
Right, yeah.
You know, that's the starting base, you know, for it.
Yeah.
Spear is another location,
Yeah, right.
you know, let's go.
So, but,
So,
that's all I really got, and I appreciate your time, and I'm going to leave you with that.
Thanks, sir.
thanks, sir.
Yeah.
Thank you. I'll be interested to read this, Sharkey. Thank you, about Kingston.
Oh, yes.
Good night,
All
Shark.
right, have a good night.
Okay.
The only thing left, next meeting, September 21st, water and sewer budget is on that meeting, and we will have the public hearing. And Barb, I know you're going to be out
I'm
on
going
the
to be absent
21st.
from that meeting. I'm going to be traveling to Greece that day, so.
So we will need an ordinance that has, so we may not have that ordinance then. We would not have unanimous for the ordinance. I believe we presented it, we tabled it. So we'll be bringing back the changes at that time, possibly. So it might be in the ordinance, I'll check out with council, just to see.
This is the ordinance for the parking spots
Yes.
down around the Arsenal?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Other than that, I think they're.
Okay. Okay, so that's it. All right, if there's no further order of business, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion we adjourn.
And I will second it.
Hold the roll.
Mayor Patricelli,
In favor?
Councilwoman Diamond,
In favor?
and Councilman Dawes.
In favor.
Okay. All right, thank you, everybody. Thank you.